Welcome to Indianapolis, the heart of motorsports in America. Renowned for its deep-rooted racing legacy, the city is home to the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a venue synonymous with speed, precision, and adrenaline. This weekend, the storied circuit welcomes the Ferrari Challenge Series for the 6th round of the North American Championship. After a season of fierce competition across the nation, drivers now prepare to conquer the legendary 2.5-mile road course where every corner tests their skill and determination. As the unmistakable roar of Ferrari engines fill the air, one thing is certain, it's time to go racing at Indianapolis. What a sight this is. You can see, that's a fantastic shot from our drone. There you can see in between the pagoda and the main grandstand there. This is round 6 of our season and the final time that we will see in a Ferrari Challenge weekend what has been one of the most winning cars from the Maranello stable in terms of GT racing, the fantastic 488 car. So this is our calendar for 2024, where we complete it for the 488 cars here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, having been to Circuit of the Americas, Laguna Seca, also Watkins Glen and Sonoma as well. We have the Pirelli drivers and the Shell drivers in these 488 cars, which of course form the staple of the Ferrari Challenge for so many years. In the sunshine, this is what Indianapolis looks like, and the sun has been very, very kind to us around this 2.5-mile circuit, which contains some 14 turns, 5 left, 9 right-handers. They are a test for any driver here. Quite a flat circuit, but it certainly provides some race entertainment. And let's go to Shea Adam.
Drivers, start your Ferrari engines.
And on Shea's command, they do as they are told. As we look at the top two, Massimo Perena and Logan Broughton, then they're two Pirelli drivers. The Pirelli drivers have got a red strip across the top of the windscreen. The Shell drivers have got a yellow strip across the top of the windscreen. And of course, Massimo Perena sealed the deal in terms of the championship. In terms of the Shell drivers, it's all down to this race, Tony.
Yeah, excellent note, excellent mark for the race is car number 459, Curtis Venslovas, starting P4 in category, and then Matthew Dalton, car number 433. These drivers had a great battle yesterday, and now they are next to each other, also row 2 and row 3, and great to see the battle for the championship. They had a similar pace yesterday, and yeah, Venslovas, I think his strategy for the race is just try to win this one, go forward, and then Dalton just to minimize the damages, stay out of trouble, and no big risk, and try to close the gap between the two cars, not let many cars between him and Venslovas. So interesting to follow the Shell category and how this championship ending race forms out.
It will, and we'll know in around about 30 minutes time, because we're ready to go racing. We will of course bring you the grid in full of our 488 Challenge cars, who are being led around by the safety car on their formation lap, always a rolling start. Massimo Perena and Logan Broughton going from P1 and P2. Was it ever thus? Jason McCarthy going from P3. He's literally just jumped out of his 296 car. Gregory Hopkins, best of the Shell drivers, followed by Gary Ott and Joel Rosenbacher going from P5 and P6. P7 is Gerdas Venslovas. P8, Enoch Hurd. Then we find Matt Dalton right behind Gerdas Venslovas going from P9. Dan Magnuszewski going from P10. It's Brad Evans and Kevin Orsini then on P11 and P12 on the grid, with Henry Hummel and Louis Peruskia going from P13 and P14. Ed Vortigyan and Anthony DiCarlo are P15 and 16. Then we find Michael Merrithew and Jeffrey Keel. They are P17 and 18, completing the 9th row of our grid, with Bernard Gomez and Steve Blevitt going from P19 and P20, and Joe Sposado going from P21 on the grid. There we have it, Tony. The scene is set. The gauntlet is laid. for what will be a phenomenal final race for our 488 Challenge cars that have served us so well and delivered so much excitement over the course of so many years. Gregory Hopkins, really impressive. You cannot fail to be impressed by Massimo Perena, who has taken to this like the proverbial duck to water. And the cars then entering the infield part of the circuit for the final time before they head on to the start-finish straight, and the start marshal awaits with the green flag. So the safety car will peel off into the pit lane. It is the responsibility of Massimo Perena and Logan Broughton to control the pace of the rolling start. Massimo Perena has done everything that he needs to do to seal the championship. That is affirmed. It's not all done for the Shell drivers, though. In 30 minutes' time, we will find out as the cars head towards the starting gantry then, and the green flag flies. Let's go racing once again with Massimo Perena. A good start. Logan Broughton trying to keep with him as the rest of the cars come through, then all heading into this funnel, which is turn number 1, as Logan Broughton tries to go around the outside of Massimo Perena. Wasn't able to do that. One car has had to take to the curbs, and that launches another. Is there going to be a domino effect in terms of other cars being called out? Good avoidance by so many drivers there. And I think it was Jason McCarthy was involved in that. I can see his car there. There's another car that is dropping a load of fluid down there as well. Gerda Svenslova's still running. And also still running critically is Matt Dalton as well. But I think
Oh, Massimo Perena made a mistake.
Wow, look at that. Logan Broughton goes through. Massimo Perena making a very rare error, Tony. So all of a sudden the lead in the Pirelli race is with Logan Broughton.
Yeah, Perena just overshot the corner going into turn 7. A lot of movement from the car when he was under braking, and let's see how this thing forms out. And now we have a safety car.
And is that that's the 406 car of Gary Ott. Gary Ott is off and out then, and it's not very often that you see Massimo Perena overtaken on the track, but Logan Broughton did it, and well done to him. So the Gary Ott car is going to have to be recovered. The clock continues to count down, of course, when we're in a full course yellow and safety car situation. Oh, this is livening up really rather nicely, isn't it? Jason McCarthy, unfortunately, we saw there, he is in the 311 car, is a long, long way back down now. Gregory Hopkins, Joel Rosenbacher, Enoch Hurd, the top 3 for our Shell drivers. Let's get a replay of the start here to try and ascertain what went on, Tony.
Yeah, here on the main straight, everything is fine going into turn 1, and then just one car jumps and cuts the curb inside the curb, and then runs in the back of Jason McCarthy. Nothing that Jason could have done differently. And like you said, the radiator is broken, so he's putting the cooling liquid on the track, stops the car straight away off the racing line. Unfortunate thing for Jason McCarthy, who is, like we all know, doing both races, 296 and 488, and at this start he couldn't do anything differently.
I mean, to be fair, Gary Ott, he was over the curves, wasn't he? And you lose control of the car at that point, don't you, anyway? And then making contact with Jason McCarthy, very, very unfortunate. What happened? You picked it up. I was looking at the timing screen. What happened with Massimo? How did he make a mistake? Yeah,
he just braked too late, and he probably not enough grip from the tires compared to the qualifying lap or fast lap. So just trying to brake late. And Logan Broughton looked really lively, ready to race, like with the racing mode. And Jason McCarthy's car has stopped as well. He gets going.
Oh, well done, Jason. He does get the car going for Wide World Ferrari, but of course his race is fair ruined, unfortunately. So there is our race leader. Our race leader is Logan Broughton, having overtaken Massimo Perena. Wow. Let's see it again in replay. It was so good, we're going to rerun the fun, Tony. Here it is.
Yeah, coming into turn 7, obviously a piece of a straight line, high-speed braking, hard braking zone, and he just cannot stop in the right distance. And Logan Broughton was just right there, and he could take a use of the situation and took the lead of the race. Interesting to see how this forms out now when we get to a restart. And interesting to see Massimo's reaction. How can he challenge back to the lead, and how he can look for that overtaking opportunity. He won the race yesterday with 17 seconds, so he had a huge margin, and completely different race pace than the other drivers, but you never know in the race.
No.
Now the different is a different scenario, different situation, and he needs to adapt to it.
Well, thanks to our team who do a brilliant job in our production suite for getting that replay for us straight away. And as you say, I mean, Logan Broughton, he was just in, you know, he had to be in the right place, and he was just able, and that's part of being a racing driver as well. If you're gifted an opportunity, you've got to be in a position to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
and
also it shows that he had a really good start. He had a really good first half of the lap because he was there to take an advantage of the opportunity. So, like I said, he looked ready to race already at the actual start, going into turn one, and it wasn't like, I'm going to let you go. Anyway, you're going to win the race. So he had the right attitude, and he's really trying to match the pace of Perina, and you could see from his driving that he was really ready to go.
And do you think that's got anything to do with Logan, whether just on the installation lap, whether he managed to warm the things up a bit better than Massimo, because he didn't seem to have the same issues in terms of grip available to him going into that turn as, that's very sad to see. That's Jason McCarthy. It looks like there's, I mean, the angle of that wheel doesn't look right to me.
Yeah, and also there was a hit to that right rear corner, so trying to see if everything is okay. And we saw earlier on Jason already stopped on track, restarted the car. I don't know if he did a master circle, meaning that he switched off the power and put it back on just to get warnings or alarms off the dash. But anyway, he's back in the pits, and the damage he got in the car is probably taking him out from the race. So going to the race start itself and Logan Broughton's good performance is a combination of trusting your race car, but also decision, aggression level, and for sure he's sort of tired of the situation that Massimo is winning the races and giving a big gap to the other drivers. So as a competitive race car driver, you want to race your racing level and just improve all the time. So maybe he wants to show that also other drivers can do results like Massimo Perina is doing.
Thank you, Tony, very much. Now, I think Shay has got some news with regards to Gary Ott.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, guys, that Gary's third ever racing weekend ends like this. He was so excited to come out and race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway that he did more than 1,000 laps on the sim trying to get ready for this. Now, remember, his first ever race weekend, a win and a third. So for Gary, this is going to leave a very bad taste in his mouth, and we look forward to seeing him back here next year, hopefully with the 296 Challenge car.
Of course, Shay, yes, of course we do. And that's very interesting now because, Tony, you know, so many drivers now with the ability to go to a sim to learn tracks. Let's see, as now Logan Broughton, it's his responsibility to control the pace of the restart, and Massimo Perina has anticipated when Logan is going to go for it really well here. It's a very, very good safety car restart for Massimo Perina, who's rolling right next to Logan Broughton. Is he going to dive to the inside line going into turn number one? What a restart from both these young drivers. Absolutely fantastic. Massimo Perina takes to the outside line. Logan Broughton has got the favourable inside line. He runs Massimo just a bit wide, and then Perina goes through. Absolutely brilliant. Tony Verlander. I mean, Massimo was just, well, brave and full of commitment there. He was determined to do it.
Wow, that was a forceful move outside turn one and keeping the speed and keeping the line into turn two. And Logan couldn't really defend. He defended into turn one, but I think he made a little mistake with the acceleration zone where he decided to go on full power because he was already out of the second last corner. So turn 13, he should have anticipated a little bit more when the other drivers are still sort of approaching the corner, and he should have used the advantage of coming out of that turn 13. Instead, he gave the possibility to Perina to react when the cars were already outside that corner. So Perina very forceful, and now I'm just afraid that we might be in the same script, same movie as yesterday.
To be fair to Logan, he's a young driver. He will learn from that, won't he? But I have to say, hats off to Massimo Perina, and hats off also to Logan, who gave Massimo racing room. It would have been very easy to squeeze him a little bit harder than that, but he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great show of respect, but also hard racing.
Wow. Well, Massimo Perina is back where Massimo Perina so often is, and that is P1. In the meantime, plenty going on in the shell drivers category as well. Bear in mind that it's Gregory Hopkins that is leading this race as overtake here, and that's absolutely critical as Gerda Svenslova's going through here. So, oh, and who's that? That's Gregory Hopkins, isn't it, Tony? That is our race leader in the Shell category, is around.
Yeah, and he couldn't rejoin because all the cars were approaching. And Gregory Hopkins had an interesting race yesterday. He was leading by almost 7 seconds, and then that lead melted down into only 1 or 2 seconds to the closing stages of the race. And today, yeah, unfortunately, spinning out of turn 2. So let's see if we get a replay of his spin and what really happened there.
Do you think it was tyres just not back up to temperature completely, Tony? Or well,
it can be a driver error as well, because
yes,
the drivers want to ride the inside curb and just more and more and more use the inside, and then there is dirt. So if he put the left-hand side wheels over the curb into the dirt, open the throttle, and then you just don't have the grip. So yeah, a little bit of drama in this race.
Now Gerda Svenslovas is really pushing on here. Now bear in mind Matt Dalton, who is currently running in P7 in class. Gerda Svenslovas is running in P5. Now there are people working very hard behind the scenes on the championship connotations here, Tony, and crunching all the numbers so that, well, here is Joel Rosenbach, who is leading the Shell race, ahead of Enoch Hurd and Gerda Svenslovas up to P3. Then it's Henry Hummel, then it's Dan Magnuszewski, then it's Matt Dalton. So in terms of points haul and championship, this could all be very exciting towards the end of this race. So yeah, very disappointing to see Gregory Hopkins down and around, but that has changed the face of this Shell race, which is being led by Joel Rosenbacher, then it's Enoch Hurd and Gerda Svenslovas. There is Matthew Dalton, who is running now in class in P6, Gerda Svenslovas in P3. So those two fighting over the championship going into this race. And there is Matthew Dalton, the Ferrari of Long Island driver. Those two have had such competition all season long in this 488 Shell battle. The Continental Autosports driver then, Gerda Svenslovas, who is running P3, and I know he's a driver that you met some time ago, Tony, and you spotted the talent of Gerda Svenslovas.
Yeah, it's true. We met this year in January in the Italian Alps. There was a Ferrari Puro Sangue, a new car model on snow. So we had an event, Ferrari had an event for the first time in 5 years on snow, and it was great to see drivers and our clients taking the Puro Sangue sideways and learning the qualities of our beautiful Puro Sangue on snow. And then we had a small competition. So we spotted with Michele Rugolo, we spotted 2 drivers who we're gonna give a special surprise trophy, and yeah, Svenslovas was one of these drivers. And then we talked a little bit more, and he said, what about Ferrari Challenge? I'm planning to do a club challenge. I want to do a little bit more. And now here we see Gregory Hopkins, and is it Jason?
Yes,
McCarthy is back on track as well.
Yeah, no, Jason McCarthy, of course, is in a different category. He's driving in the Pirelli category, but Gregory Hopkins will be on something of a mission as well to try and take something out of this race. But Jason McCarthy, in his normal attributes, which are absolutely anchors out, giving it everything at 120%.
Yeah,
so he does.
Aggressive move, yeah. So going back to Svenslovas, and then he asked, club challenge, what should I do? I'm interested in racing. And I said, yeah, go for it. Feel where you feel comfortable. And I'm not ready for racing. I said, if you try the club challenge and you are competitive, don't hesitate to go racing. And here we are 8 months later, and he's racing and fighting for the championship.
Yes, and Gerda Svenslovas is on something of a mission because he's got the target sights of Enoch Hurd ahead of him. Joel Rosenbacher is not so far ahead as well, so Gerda Svenslovas is really going for it here as they cross the start-finish line. There is just so little between the top 3. There is less than a second between the top 3, Tony. So it is Joel Rosenbacher, then Enoch Hurd, then the hard-charging Gerda Svenslovas. Now, 1 or 2 drivers picking up a little bit of dust there as well. Gerda, though, for my money, was very clean, kept it on the tarmac there, didn't run off a bit too wide. And we've seen just how he can overtake drivers ahead of him. So what have we got? 16 minutes of this race remaining for Gerda Svenslovas then. who is running P3, and the top three in the shell category you can see here. You can just see Matthew Dalton into the back of the picture there, who's running in P6 at the moment.
Yeah, he would definitely need maximum points here, so he has some pressure to trying to overtake the two cars ahead of him and trying to see if there is a chance to win the championship. So a lot of pressure for him, but also for Dalton, just to monitor where his main rival is and how is this championship gonna end up.
In the meantime, Massimo Perena, 3.3 seconds to the good over Logan Broughton. Forgive us for maintaining our quest on this battle, because that is absolutely critical for us. Joel Rosenbacher, Enoch Hurd, and Gerda Svenslovas running in P1, 2, 3 for our Copa Shell drivers in the 4A Challenge. Run off the turn 14, back onto the start-finish straight again. You get oh so close to that really rather unforgiving concrete wall, and then you head into the funnel, which is turn number 1. The 4A Challenge cars then for the final time in the Ferrari Challenge, and here is Jason McCarthy, who is just picking them off one by one. It's Ed Vortigian who is next in his target sights, and well, you can see there that Jason McCarthy is virtually welded to the back end of the Ed car, as here he goes on the inside line as they both head up to turn number 1. Jason McCarthy's got the job done before even turning in.
Yeah, he got a good run, good exit from turn 13, and then the corner that they do at full throttle, 14, and yeah, he was side by side already before the braking point into turn 1.
The returning Gregory Hopkins then from his earlier pirouette, if you will. He's currently running P11 in class, and running in P10 is Ed Vortigian, and he's going to try and make short work of that red and black car that is ahead of him now. Is he going to have a go going into this turn? I don't think he's close enough to be able to do it. And well, now you can see Gregory Hopkins running to the inside as he can try and get the switch back here by diving to the inside. Again, not quite close enough to be able to do anything, as Massimo Perena then crosses the line to extend his lead still further over Logan Broughton to 5.776 seconds. Great racing from these drivers then, and Massimo Perena and Logan Broughton, both young, talented drivers, no question about that. And Massimo Perena sets the fastest lap now, which is another point like he needed anymore in his points tally. 1:27.788, the only driver, Tony Villander, to go into the 1:27s. I mean, he had a little fillip, didn't he, because he lost the lead, but he got it back again. And you know, when the driver has that sort of mindset, to be able to pick yourself up and think, oh, I'm not settling for this, and do what he did, hugely impressive to me.
Yeah, he's back into his normal pace, what we even saw yesterday. So yeah, he's almost a second, 8 tenths, 7 to 8 tenths faster than everybody else on track. And yeah, after 9 laps, he's leading with the 6 seconds. So looks really promising. Another race win for Massimo Perena.
Yes, it will have been a huge haul of race wins for Massimo Perena. It'll be his 9th win if he takes it. There's only one that he didn't win, and that was when the another young driver was able to take it to him, and that was Titus Sherlock in the second race last time out at Sonoma, actually. So now Gerda Svenslovas is beginning just to, I mean, if I'm honest with you, Tony, he hasn't been on these two quite as quickly as I expected him to be, knowing what's at stake.
Yeah, he already started falling back a little bit, and now he's coming back again. So the thing is, under pressure, he seems to be a very driver that thinks a lot behind the wheel. So for him to do under pressure these overtaking maneuvers, he needs to force himself a little bit. There's not a lot of experience, and he doesn't, you know, it doesn't come as a routine. He needs to force himself to a situation where first keep up the pace of the 2 leaders, and then if there is chance, try to overtake clean, no contact, no risk of having to retire the car. So there is a lot of things at stake, and sometimes being too forceful, and you never know what's going to happen in the last 10 minutes of the race. So, but he definitely would need a race win.
So we've got 11 1/4 minutes of the race remaining then. Gerda Svenslovas is running in P3. He's chasing down Enoch Hurd. That's the next in his sights. But as I say, Now Gerda Svenslovas is on the back of Enoch Hurd. Enoch Hurd has slowed a bit, knowing that he's having to perhaps take a little bit of a more defensive line, which is allowing Joel Rosenbacher just to get up the road a little bit. The three are pretty close together, though, in fairness, as they run through this infield section. Ignore what I just said, because actually they're nose to tail now. So I was thinking that Joel is going to be able to escape up the road a little bit, but that's not the case at all, as the top three then are covered by just a couple of car lengths each as they cross the start-finish line and head into turn number one once again. Gerda Svenslovas absolutely, definitely closer to Enoch Hurd right now. However, going into turn number one, again, Enoch Hurd just running a little bit over the curbs there.
Yeah, they're really using the whole track and a little bit even off the track. So the distances vary a lot between different parts of the track. Seems like between these three drivers, there is one section when one driver is very strong and then others are closing, and then it's a little bit elastic, the distances. Svenslovas is flashing his lights, saying that here I come, so be careful. And another thing is, if the first two run into a battle and he's just waiting and then takes an advantage of this situation. So
here is Matthew Dalton then, running in P6 at the moment. Ahead of him is Dan Magnuszewski. Now, obviously, for Matt to get past Dan Magnuszewski, that would put him into P5, which carries more points than being in P6. So that's important as well, and we are getting to the closing stages now. We've got just under 10 minutes of the race remaining. And you know, Gerdas did a better job in qualifying today. There's no question about that. But Matthew Dalton now has got Dan Magnuszewski lined up, I would suggest. Where is he going to go for an overtake? Although Dan Magnuszewski now breaks away a bit. Set up of the cars is always a compromise, Tony, between the twisty sections of a circuit and the main power part, which are the straights. And you know, drivers and teams set their cars up, A, to suit the driving style, and B, to get the best compromise across all three sectors of the circuit.
Yeah, true. It's also performance on one lap, and then you change the setup a little bit regarding the race distance, the 30-minute race. So tire life is a thing for the race itself. Yesterday we saw with the 488 challenge cars that there were some drivers that lost a lot of pace in the last 5, let's say less than 10 minutes of the race. And same thing there with the qualifying. You run one setup and then you change a little bit for the race.
So Massimo Perena, Logan Broughton, P1 and P2, as Jason McCarthy is continuing to pick off all of those cars ahead of him.
We have Logan Broughton, who is overtaking. He's lapping another driver. He's comfortably P2 in Pirelli class.
Yes, you're right. There is comfort there in his position, that's for sure. Massimo Perena is 9.5 seconds up the road as Logan Broughton getting past the 417 car of Jeffrey Keel it was, and Logan Broughton then, who is an impressive young driver, that's for sure. However, he's been up against a driver that he's really on his mettle in Massimo Perena. And right now, here is Gerda Svenslovas then. Joel Rosenbacher has now done what I predicted was going to happen a couple of laps ago. And that's got away a bit because Enoch Hurd's rearview screen is full of Gerda Svenslovas, so that slowed him, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Hurd with his car is sliding a lot, so there must have been something going on into turn one, because suddenly the gap has increased a lot, and Hurd is really, like, again, he doesn't have a lot of rolling speed into the corner. He tried to brake really late, but had to stop the car almost completely, and now it's up to Svenslovas to find the overtaking maneuver. Look.
Oh, you're right about that slide in. That plays into the hands of Gerda Svenslovas, doesn't it? He's got the inside line, but all of a sudden, wow.
He needs to go for it now. Tight racing.
Surely it's got to be when, not if, Gerda Svenslovas is able to convert this P3 into P2, and now he's done it. Through he goes, and that was gifted to him, really, wasn't it? Because quite clearly Enoch Hurd is struggling there with the car, which has not got optimized grip anymore.
Yeah, we talked about the grip level and also what happened yesterday towards the end of the race. And Enoch Hurd, he had a difficult lap. He was over the racing line in several corners, and he just didn't have the grip anymore towards the end of that lap. And now it's up to Venclovas. Can he close it even to the leader? And it would be interesting to know the realistic points gap that where we at.
Joel Rosenbacher leading, and Gerdas Venclovas, well, he's got some work to do in 5.5 minutes, Tony, because you can see now that Joel Rosenbacher has stretched his lead over Gerdas Venclovas to something like very nearly 3 seconds. So Gerdas is going to have to do every lap. He's going to have to be like what we call a quali lap, Tony Villander, for him to try and get on terms with our race leader.
Yeah, he's done a great race, and now he's up to P2. There's also now the position where Manuszewski is having one of the best races of the season, and he has the championship leader Dalton behind him, and the gap is just minimum between these two as well. So a very exciting last 5 minutes we have.
So there is the car of Gerdas Venclovas then driving that 459 numbered 488 Challenge Evo for Continental Autosports. We've got 4.5 minutes remaining of this final race of our Ferrari Challenge 488 cars in both Pirelli and Shell category. And Joel Rosenbacher leading in this Shell race. Now, of course, he's completely not interested in what's going on with regards to the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, and Rosenbacher is now running into a lapped car, losing a little bit of time. And Venclovas is closing on him.
So this, once again, is the Jeffrey Keel car. Well,
whoa.
Fair play to Jeffrey Keel, getting out of the way, and he's got out of the way of Gerdas Venclovas as well, because here comes Gerdas Venclovas then, and Enoch Hurd is also going to do the same here, and they're going into the next turn, which is the left-hander at turn. Oh, and well, as you say, this is going to get very, very exciting.
Yeah, I believe the margin they have now, I mean, the situation we are in the race now with Venclovas and Dalton, it's going to be down to 1 or 2 points. And
well,
it's very...
as it is right now, if the race finished now, we think Matthew Dalton would win the championship by 1 point.
Wow.
So Venclovas has got to get by Joel Rosenbacher.
Let's see now, McCarthy is on Dalton.
But that's academic, because of course he's different category.
Yeah, but you never know.
No, you do. You're absolutely
Cars
right.
on track, overtaking, you never know.
You're right, Tony. You're right. 3 minutes remaining. There is Matthew Dalton. Now, in my opinion, I'll just indicate left and let him go. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, 100%, yes.
Because now, Gerdas Venclovas,
yeah, he's up to the leader.
He is right on him. Oh, so the 488 Shell Championship potentially up for grabs here. Now, Gerdas Venclovas has got to be cool, calm and collected here. He's got 2.5 minutes. He's running out of time. There is no question about that. It's got to be, you know, do it now. He's not quite close enough, I don't think, to have a go into turn 7. Is he, Tony?
No, not yet. He's not yet close enough, but for sure team is informing him, go for it. The driver's mindset is only to the car in front. You cannot feel tired. You cannot feel that the car is sliding or I don't have the performance. Now he's using all the skills he has, all the experience he has gathered in this year's championship, and he has closed down on the leader. That's a fact. And now let's see, 2 minutes to go.
Yeah. Last lap round, he'd really reeled in Joel Rosenbacher, the Ferrari of Lake Forest driver, who, of course, he wants the race win. He couldn't give a monkeys about the championship. You know, you're a racing driver, you want to win the race, don't you? And Gerdas Venclovas, well, he has absolutely got to do it. And as they cross the line now, 1.5 minutes of this race remaining, there is Matthew Dalton, who I believe... Oh,
whoa. Again, Dalton's car towards the end of the race has a lot of oversteer, the same thing he had yesterday.
Right. Well, he's having to control that and hold on to that. So Matthew Dalton, who let Jason McCarthy go, which was the wise thing to do, he's running P6. Gerdas Venslovas is running P2 and is chasing Joel Rosenbacher. But we are running out of time here. We think, having done the calculations that we've done, if everything stopped now, if the checkered flag came out now, Matthew Dalton would have done enough to win the championship by 1 point.
What about Venslova's fastest lap?
Oh, thanks, Tony. Throw that into the mix for me. That would mean it would be a tie, and therefore it would then go down to who's taken the most. Oh, let me focus on this. Joel Rosenbacher is leading the Copa Shell race, I have to say, and he's broken away a bit now from Gerdas Venslovas.
Yeah, Venslovas made a mistake coming out of turn 10, so he had a sideways moment there, and yeah, it's a tight battle. He has driven a great race. This is clearly a demonstration of him he had the one target, just the points, and trying to catch the leader of the race, and he has really put his head down and driven well. You, Tony Verlander, throwing in the fastest lap into the mix here. Basically, it means if it all finishes now, if the checkered flag came out now, as Venslovas makes another error, if he holds on to this fastest lap, we think Venslovas would have done enough. All right, let's see. He made a mistake again. He just needs to keep it together now, because obviously the leader is gone. Now he's trying to concentrate and bring the car. Bring it home. Bring it home. Yes, so we think the difference would be the fastest lap point. Wow. This is just extraordinary stuff. In the Ferrari Challenge, final race for the 488 cars. This is Massimo Perena, who has been an absolute superstar this season, as he adds yet another victory to his extraordinary tally. He takes the Pirelli win from Logan Broughton, who will finish P2. Ooh. And Gerdas Venslovas. No! Oh my goodness me! Now, is Gerdas going to be able to nurse this car home? But surely, having dropped a couple of positions now, the car is broken. Oh my goodness, what heartbreak! So as so many cars come past now, that has got to be the end of the championship aspirations, surely. And look at the fluid on the track. For Gerdas Venslovas, because Henry Hummel has gone through. Look at the fluid on the track now. Where is Matthew Dalton? And heaven forbid Matthew Dalton manages to thread his way through. That has got to be enough for Matthew Dalton to take the championship, surely. Yeah, for sure. What an exciting, what a battle. Drama. Yeah, for sure. I think Gerdas Venslovas, he misjudged. He didn't have the patience, and he lost it in breaking into 12, and he was way too late, and that was the result. And Gerdas' car can go no further. That means I'm almost convinced. I've not had confirmation from the officials, Tony, so I'm being cautious in what I say, but I think that is absolutely enough for Matthew Dalton to become the champion, because he finished P4. Massimo Perena, though, there's no doubting that he has been victorious once again. Another fantastic showing from that young man. Massimo Perena, what a star you are. What a season you have delivered. And for Matthew Dalton, we are convinced that he is the Shell champion. Massimo Perena had sealed that ages ago, but it has all come down to the final race. And honestly, Tony, I don't think the final lap could have been any more dramatic. Yeah, I would say the 488 challenge is going to a retirement with quite a fashion. What a dramatic final stages of the race. Big shout out to Joel Rosenbacher, who in all the excitement, I forgot to mention, won the race in the Shell drivers ahead of Enoch Hurd and Henry Hummel. So apologies, Joel, but there was so much going on. Not only was there so much going on, there were bits of car going everywhere. Joel Rosenbacher, Enoch Hurd, Henry Hummel. Henry Hummel's first podium, I believe. So there we can see Massimo Perena, who
of course, will be really, really, well, he's finished on the high that he has delivered all season long, Tony.
Yeah, and this one he had to fight for. He lost the lead on the opening lap, and then he just got it back. What a demonstration of his skills, overtaking from outside into turn 1 and keeping the inside line into turn 2, and just on the lap times on his own, the pace of his own, and what a dominant performance.
Extraordinary stuff. What a dramatic conclusion to racing here, this Ferrari Challenge weekend. Tony Verlander here at Indianapolis. As always, a real privilege for me to have you alongside me to bring the driver ambassador perspective to all the action, and there has been action thick and fast this weekend. And there is probably a very disappointed Gerda Svenslovas, but we have seen glimpses of brilliance in terms of driving from Gerdas. Yeah, I'm sure that as he gets checked over by the medical team, which is purely precautionary, he's absolutely fine. He's walked away from the car. Massimo Pereira then another P1, Logan Broughton P2, and Jason McCarthy in all of that, of course, takes a P3 in Pirelli.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Massimo Pereira. He's with Shea Adam now.
Massimo, 2024 488 champion, the last one in the Trofeo Pirelli class. 9 wins out of 10 races. How hard were you pushing for that final win?
Just that little bit more. I think losing it on the first lap just made me want it that little bit extra. But the only reason we were able to do that is because we have such a great team under us. Scuderia 1999 and MG1 did an absolutely incredible job this entire year. None of this is possible without them. I'm just the monkey behind the wheel.
Very good, Monkey. Congratulations on another win.
Thank you so much.
Come on, Massimo. You're monkey behind the wheel. Much more than that, friend. Oh, fantastic job done. And here we can see the car of Joel Rosenbacher. And Enoch Hurd taking P2 and Henry Hummel P3. Confirmation of the results then. Massimo Pereira and Logan Broughton, the top 2 in Pirelli. The top 3 for the Shell drivers, Joel Rosenbacher, Enoch Hurd and Henry Hummel. They finished ahead of Matthew Dalton, Dan Magnuszewski and Brad Evans. And then it was Jason McCarthy who, finishing the race overall P9, still means P3 in Pirelli. Ahead of Louis Periskia, Gerda Svenslovas, Kevin Orsini, Gregory Hopkins, Ed Vortigern, Anthony Di Carlo. Then it was Joe Sposado, Michael Merrithew, Steve Blevet, Bernard Gomez and Jeffrey Keel, with Gary Ott regrettably out right at the start of the race. Wow, what a race. What a finish. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship points for Pirelli, first of all. Massimo Pereira then on 360 points. What a haul. Logan Broughton, 285. Jason McCarthy, 278 points. Extraordinary stuff in the Drivers' Championship for the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli drivers. And for the Drivers' Championship, look at this. In the Shell drivers, Matthew Dalton then ahead of Gerda Svenslovas and Enoch Hurd. They are the top 3 in the Shell Drivers' Championship. Matthew Dalton then sealing the championship in this race. And let's hear from Joel Rosenbacher, winner of the Shell race. He's with Shea Adam.
First ever trip to the podium, and it's to the top step. Joel Rosenbacher, how excited are you to finish out the season like this?
It's awesome. It's a great season. It's my first season. It's sad to see the 488 go, but it was really fun. Thanks to my team, thanks to my coaches, thanks to all my supporters.
Now, I heard a rumor that your engineer liked to play some special music to try and get you amped up before sessions. What did he play before this race?
We played Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Gonna have more of that next year.
You got it. Thank you.
Not a bad choice, to be fair. There we have it then. So the final race of the 488 Challenge cars done and dusted. Great to hear from Joel Rosenbacher. And you can see the cars down there in Parc Ferme. I have to leg it in due course to go down to the podium. But to everyone, thank you so much for watching, from Shea, from Tony and from myself, and from the entire production crew who do such a fantastic job. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.